Good day, and welcome to Factorio Beginner's Guide with
Hello,
Count
everyone.
Avacula and myself. How's it going, Avacula?
It's going pretty good. The factory is out of power. Always the best way to start an episode. Shall we explain why it's out of power, Shen?
Well, I don't know. We could leave it a mystery. You think the viewers could figure it out?
Well, as this is a beginner's guide, I think that's a little bit unfair. Honestly. I mean,
All right,
effectively, we've
lay
been
it
playing
on us,
around
but
with the
be-
modules.
Be gentle. Be gentle.
Yeah, we've been playing with the modules, and I may have broken the factory. You remember how our factory wasn't really producing much pollution? Yeah, that's changed. That big sea of blood there. I mean, fitting, because considering I'm Count Avacula, but that is a lot of pollution, and it is
it's
being
not-
generated. Go ahead.
It's not like we added a bunch of factories or anything.
No.
It's simply modules.
Yep.
Modules
Productivity
have
modules.
downsides. Productivity
Yeah.
modules, yeah, they
Pretty big
produce
ones.
more stuff, but they also produce it a little slower,
Yep.
and they use a lot more juice.
Now,
So now that we have them everywhere, we have producing a lot more pollution
not
than we used
quite
to.
everywhere, because there's some places that just doesn't make sense. Like, you wouldn't put a productivity module, I mean, unless you were rolling in them.
You wouldn't download
Into-
a car.
You wouldn't put it into, like, copper cables, but I've put it onto the big things, like the blue circuits. Getting a free blue circuit every now and then, considering how much stuff it takes to make one, makes a lot of sense. Same for
science,
the
too.
electric circuits. Same for in fact, for the blue science, I put it in a lot of things. All of the blue science have them. All of the batteries have them. All of the sulfuric acid has them. And down here, all of the sulfur production has them. The only thing in that entire production chain that doesn't is the fuel refineries and the fuel pumps, which is really dumb because those should have been some of the first places I put them. But I'm really dumb, what can I say? But this actually touches on something that Shenra mentioned in a previous episode, that the productivity bonus is cumulative if you put it in all of the stages of a
Right.
process that has a long factory chain. Every stage you're getting a little bit more for free until at the end you're actually getting quite a lot for free, which is the case here.
Yep, with these level 2 productivity modules, instead of 4% extra stuff, you're getting 6% extra stuff. So 2 of them in a factory gives you 12% extra junk out of every single factory in the chain, all the way up to the end of the chain. It adds up to a lot of stuff.
Yep, that
It also
does.
adds up to a lot of extra electricity.
Yes, well, that's the thing. If you look at this, we're using 120% more power for each factory we've done this to. It's also producing 80% more pollution. And it's crafting 30% slower. So there's a lot of drawbacks, an awful lot of drawbacks for free stuff. So it's not really free, really, when you think about it. Nothing in life is free. However, to try and combat that, I have put one of the highest level efficiency modules in quite a lot of our smelters, which are traditionally very power hungry. Some of the most
yes.
power hungry things you'll have.
So putting these
go
level
ahead.
3s in here has cut the energy consumption in half on all of these. And that's
Now,
a huge
you
discount.
could put 2 in there, but be aware that the most you can ever reduce it is to 80%. Currently,
Right.
each one reduces it by 50. So if I put the second one in, just to let you see, it only reduces it then to 80%. That's the limit. So I'm really only getting just a bit over half of the bang for buck out of these very expensive modules. So I choose
Right.
instead to put 1 in each one.
Now, there's something you should consider, Aavak, and everyone who's watching, is if you check out the level 2 modules, they give you 40% energy consumption reduction, and they cost a lot less to build
Yes.
than the level 3 modules. So it really
Yes.
makes sense. If you only want that reduction in energy consumption, you can get 80% reduction in all of your factories if you use 2 level 2s.
Yes,
And
absolutely.
it's so much better than using 1 level 3. However, if you use 1 level 3, then you can combine that with a different type of module if you
For
want
example,
some other kind
a
of
speed
effect.
module.
Speed module, productivity module, whatever you wish.
Yeah. I mean, the level 2 speed module gives you plus 30% speed, but consumes 60% more power. Combine that with the level 3 efficiency module, and you're only increasing it by a small amount, rather than a whopping 60%. There's just a little bit more power use for a huge 30% increase in crafting speed. And for certain things, that would actually be really, really useful. Smelters, not so much, but certainly for certain crafts crafting workshops, that would actually be a very useful thing to do.
Now,
But
speaking of things
ahead.
that take a long time to craft, I thought we were
Yeah.
going to start a research on something.
Yes, indeed we are. It is time. We have the rocket silo. It's going to take 1,000 of each repair pack, 60 seconds each. It's going to take us a long
Science
time.
pack, not repair pack.
Science pack, sorry, I do apologize. But yeah, it's going to take a very long time.
So
very
60,000
long time.
seconds? Do we have that much time?
Thankfully, we've got quite a few science workshops working on it, and we have maximum research in terms of science efficiency. So we should be okay, but it may take us over this episode to get all of that research done, and then into the next episode where we're probably going to be wrapping this series up. I know it's sad to say, but it's true.
I know.
We're coming to the end
Now,
now.
Something that Aavak didn't know, which is cool. It's cool that people who play the game a lot can still learn something from it. Is science labs can have modules. So we could, for
Yes.
instance, put something in here like this, like he was suggesting, a level 2 speed module combined with level 3 efficiency. You wind up with 30% faster science and only 10% increase in energy consumption. That's actually a pretty good combination. It might be useful for science labs. Well, I mean, once we're at the end of the game here, it probably doesn't matter that much. But
No.
earlier on, it make a big difference in your science output.
I mean, I'm
And-
flat out going to request just constant highest level speed modules. I'm just going to fill them all up with the highest level speed modules. Like, I don't care. Caution to the wind, my friend.
You might as well.
Indeed.
I didn't know that you could put modules into oil. What are they called?
Oil derricks.
The derricks. Yeah, the pump jacks. I didn't know you could do that. So there's just little things like that. Like if you mouse over the derrick itself in your crafting menu, it doesn't tell you it has room for 2 modules. You only notice that once you put them down. You got to look at it. And I just never looked at it.
Now, it's nice to notice that the speed modules don't have an upper limit. We've now got 100% extra speed on there
That's
for
so nice.
140% extra energy consumption. So, yeah,
Whatever. Whatever.
It's very, very worth it for these super, super long production, researchers. There we go. And as you can see, we're already making some reasonable progress there. Now, this is only possible because we already had a reasonable stock of these being created.
Right.
You may have already noticed in my inventory, I've got a lot of Iron Man kind of stuff. I've got bits for Power Armour. Both Shen and I have already made these because they do take a little while to make, and we didn't want to go through the effort of making them automated just for the sake of just a handful of them in total, because you ideally will never need more than just 2 or 3 or however many you're going to use in your Power Armour. But I think it's time, while our factory is slowly recovering from the amount of energy drain, for us to play around with Power Armour. What do you say,
Oh
Shen?
boy. Oh, definitely. I just opened mine up. It's a 10 by 10 grid. It's glorious. It's
Yes, we've
absolutely
got
glorious.
the Mark II Power Armor. We're not going to showcase the regular Power Armor because it's literally just the in-between of the basic Power Armor and the Power Armor Mark II. It does nothing particularly new. It's just a larger grid and has some better resistances.
It doesn't have like a niche that it fills or anything. It's simply something you can skip if you want to, and we did.
Yep. Right, now, there are a few things you can do here. Now, obviously, you need power. To do anything, you need power, and there's 2 ways that you can get power in the vanilla game. There are some that offer different moddable options. The one that most people are going to do first, because the second option is extremely expensive, is to build portable solar panels. As you can imagine, these will charge up a little bit of power in the day. Now, you don't notice anything on my UI saying that I'm charging up power, and that's because there's nowhere for the power to go. You need at least 1 battery for that to matter. So there we are. I popped in a battery, and I'm slowly charging that up with my 4 solar panels. So, there we go. That's pretty good. And you can keep a watch on that so you can see roughly how long it takes, whilst we have a look at what these cost. The portable solar panels for each one is 1 blue processing unit, 5 steel plates, and 5 solar panels. For the battery, 5 batteries, 10 steel plates. Now, the battery actually has an upgraded version. The battery can store 100 kilojoules, regular, but the Mark II battery, which takes exactly the same space as the Mark I, takes 10 batteries to make, 20 processing units on top of, and can store the equivalent of 5 batteries. Now, obviously, you're putting a lot more in than you're getting out with that, but it's taking up much less space. It's taking up the same space as something which can store 100 kilojoules, while it can store 5 times that much. And that's really what you're paying for there. You're paying for the extra space, because that's ultimately what it all comes down to with the Power Armor. You got to have enough room to put stuff in there. Shen, do you want to talk about some of the other toys?
Oh boy. You know what my favorite part of the Power Armor is?
What?
Exoskeletons.
Magic
man.
legs.
They are amazing.
Okay.
It's movement bonus of 30%, but it stacks. So if you have multiples of them, and don't ask me how this works, but basically you glue legs onto your legs, and then you glue legs onto those legs, and then you glue legs onto those legs, and you just keep going faster and
Eventually
faster
you
and
become
faster.
a human centipede. Don't think about the film. If you know what film I just named, don't think about it. Purge it from your mind. There we go.
Oh, it's so good. And then if you run on belts, you
It
go
gets
even
stupid.
faster.
Because you get the bonus for belts on top of everything else. And if you do that on concrete, you get really stupid. And we've not
It's
shown you
crazy
the
good.
fastest belt in the game, but it is particularly bonkers at that point. You can just fill your Power Armor with all these legs. However, the caveat, you notice how my speed suddenly dropped? It's because I've not got enough power to run this many legs. They have a consumption
Aavak.
rate.
You need some more
And-
batteries.
That's right. You can fill this up with batteries, and I can do that. But instead of doing that, as you've seen how long these 4 portable cells are charging, each one has a maximum power output of 1 kilowatt. That's at peak daylight. However, you can build a portable fusion reactor. Now, obviously, solar power has one big problem. It only works in the day. The portable fusion reactor takes a lot more to make. A lot more. That's 100 processing units and 13 alien artifacts. And it takes up a 4x4 grid. However, it outputs the equivalent of 75 solar panels.
Wow.
You can't even... Well, actually, how much is this? This is a 10 by 10. Okay, you could just about have that many solar panels in your Power Armor if that's all you had. But you wouldn't really have much room for anything else more fun.
So
but,
again, it's the same
yes.
same concept as the level 2 batteries. Is that it's something that produces a lot more power, but it's so much more space efficient that it makes way big difference. It's so much better than putting in 75 solar panels.
Yeah. As you can see there, for those who were paying attention on my screen there, having 3 exoskeletons, that drains 1 battery's worth of storage very quickly. Now let's pop in the portable fusion reactor and see how quickly that fills up. Obviously, you can see there, it filled up pretty quickly. And my portable fusion reactor, which requires no fuel, by the way, this is a self-contained, effectively infinite power source, can quite happily run the exoskeletons indefinitely. There's no drain there.
It's not that it doesn't have a fuel source, it's that it doesn't have an active fuel source.
Yes, of course.
When you construct it, it actually requires alien candy.
Yeah,
And
so it's running on the souls of aliens we've killed.
yeah, it's
much.
slowly digesting them and consuming their essence, and as it does so, it provides you with wonderful power.
Now, as I said with the batteries, the Mark II battery is literally just a bigger version of the others. This is equivalent. I've put 5 batteries into my Power Armor, and I put 1 Mark II, and as you can see, this is holding as much power as all of these. Imagine if we had all of the space that I'm currently using up by my Mark 1 batteries as Mark 2s, you'd be able to store an awful lot of power. Now, what else might you want to be using that for? There's actually quite a lot of things. One, which is a bit of a utility item. We'll cover this one first because it's probably not as flashy as some of the other things.
You're gonna zap me?
Night vision.
Oh, that.
There we go. Simple. It just, this is nighttime. I've got night vision on. If I take off my Power Armor, you can immediately see what I'd be seeing without it, and that is not much of a factory. There's tiny little bits of illumination because the power's coming back on, but as you've seen throughout this series, it can get quite dark at nighttime. With the night vision on, you can see everything clearly. It is a uniform level of light. It will automatically toggle itself on when it starts to get dark, so you don't have to press any buttons or worry about anything. This used to be significantly more annoying. It used to be a very strong, nuclear green glow over everything, and almost no one used night vision because of that. But now it's just a small filter.
Think of hot pink but green. You know, a color that is so bright that it hurts your eyes.
Yes,
That's
pretty
what
much.
it used to be.
Exactly.
And it's
yeah.
fine now. It's perfectly fine now.
Yeah, it's actually really useful. This will be back on my going to keep that room for it in all of my Power Armor setups from this point on, because it's just super useful. Now, we're starting to run out of space on my armor suit. I could be making other things, but the next thing we're going to cover is shields. So you've got your basic shields, and we'll just cover what you need to make them. 5 advanced circuits, 10 steel plate. Super cheap. They require a 2x2 area to be installed and can have a shield capacity of 50. It'll consume 24 kilowatts of power. Energy per unit is 2.0 kilojoules. Maximum recharge speed 360. All of this just gives you an idea of how good this shield is at at recharging itself from the energy that's available, how long it's going to be able to sustain fire for. The Energy Shield Mark II, much like the battery, requires 10 of the Mark 1s and 10 power processing units, and again, takes up exactly the same space. It consumes energy a bit faster, but it's 3 times as good a shield. It's got a shield power of 150. So not quite as space efficient as the Mark II battery, which is 5 times as efficient, but still a pretty solid addition. So let me go ahead and add that into my armor, and then I'm going to let you press C, Shen. I know you've been waiting for it.
Oh boy, I better switch away from the shotgun.
Yeah, just so you don't mess up the factory. I'll stand over you. There you go.
Okay, I'm just going to do it for a second.
Fire now. There we go. He took a fair chunk of the shield out. Be aware that we have gone to the effort of maximizing our bullet research. So our guns are quite powerful, but my shield absorbed dropped by about half of its capacity from that. And I've only got, let's just double check, I've got 4 regular shields and 1 energy shield Mark II. My power, sure, let's make sure I'm on my gun. There we go. Say when.
Go for it.
How's that?
Yep. Got about 30% of the shield.
How many shields have you got in there?
I'm using 7 of the Mark IIs.
Oh, right. Okay, so you've got very, very good shielding. Now, did that really impact your energy production at all? Were you starting to lose power? That's one thing that I wanted to draw on. You can get to a point where the shields are drawing so much power that your power source, especially if you're using solar, is not going to be able to keep up with it. And that's a kind of a dangerous place to be in. I'm only using 1 portable reactor. I believe, Shen, are you using 2?
I have 2 reactors, yeah.
Yeah, so Shen will be able to produce twice as much and sustain twice as heavy a shield, or move much, much faster and be able to sustain those kinds of the exoskeletons and so on and so forth. 1 fusion reactor will usually be enough, but you can push it. You can push it and need more than 1. Usually, I don't find people using 3 because by then you're taking up so much room of your armor.
It's too much space, yeah.
There's no use for that. You can't use that much power. Right, so the next thing we're going to look at, now we're going to leave weapons until last, and yes, there are weapons, is the personal roboport. Now this one's really quite fun. You'll notice that my battery from 1 portable fusion reactor has been drained completely, and I am slowly recharging this. This thing has an enormous internal capacitor, but it can support up to 10 robots. They can be logistics robots. I don't find that quite as useful. Or they can be construction robots, or a combination of the 2. It has 2 charging stations on it, so 2 robots can be charging off your power suit at any one time, and it has an internal buffer of internal buffer recharge rate is 700 kilowatts, so it's actually pulling 700 kilowatts per second there.
It doesn't actually battery.
Well, yeah, it doesn't actually mention how much it can store, but it's going to be quite a lot since it's taking this long to charge up. Now, the way that you do this is you have the robots on you. You don't release them as we have them with the other robots. You just have them on your hotbar or in your inventory. 10 of them will be used at any one time for a particular task. Now, let's head up to the north where there are some trees, and I can demonstrate just how useful this is, because there's a lot of places that aren't actually in the robo network. There we are. We've got a little bit of a dead zone just up here by some trees. Now, normally, if I said for this to be deconstructed, a bunch of robots will come from the base to do that for us. However, Up
We're
here,
not in the
where
zone
they
of the
aren't
base.
there anymore. If I do this, my robots will go out and they'll collect it, and they'll bring it back to me. They'll fill my inventory with that. If I have repair packs, Shen, would you do the honors of just damaging that a little bit? There we go. Because I've got repair packs, my robot will grab one, go out there, repair it, and then return. I've not really used logistics robots in any serious fashion. I can't really think of too many reasons why you'd want logistics robots or how they'd really be able to benefit you. Generally, I just roll with a stack of construction robots in my inventory. You do want more than just the 10 because they can get damaged, especially if you're being a little bit more risky with where you're going because you're in an Iron Man suit, which is probably what we're going to get to next. Shen, would you like to cover the weapons?
Oh boy, it's... No, I don't want to cover the weapons. You know why?
Why?
Because I don't use them. I don't use them. There's two different kinds of weapons. We'll talk about them a little bit here. There's two different kinds of weapons. There's one that acts just like a laser turret. It's the personal laser defense. If anything comes within the range of it, which is kind of low, it's only 15 tile range, it will fire at it just like a laser turret would fire. It's 100% accuracy. It does, decent damage just like a laser turret does. The one problem I have with it, and the reason why I don't use them, is because they soak so much energy that if you're under a lot of damage and you're trying to escape, and survive, it can soak up all of your battery, and then your power legs will turn off. And if your power legs turn off, good luck running away. So I kind of think of this as it's interesting, but it's just a little bit too damaging to your ability to stay alive.
Yeah, this is an interesting point that Shen's bringing up here. Generally, with Power Armor, there's two types of people who use it. Ones who prefer to just be basically a walking army, completely passive. They just move somewhere and things start dying around them and they can soak damage, but that's harder to build. And then there's those who prefer the Power Armor to take a more passive role for them in defending them. And for that, you generally just want shields and exoskeletons. You're heavily shielded, so you can tank a lot of damage whilst you're actively shooting things with your regular gun, and also your legs are so fast you can outrun pretty much anything that threatens you.
Oh yeah.
Mixing those two things, being tanky and damaging, is very difficult, but you can, for example, load your armor up with personal lasers and maybe 2 portable fusion reactors and be in a tank. Your armor will still shoot out of the tank. Your armor will actually do quite a lot of damage out of the tank, I believe. Let's actually double check that before I make a massive mistake. I know you could, but every now and then things change, annoyingly. So I'm going to go and find a tank. Actually, I'm going to have to turn that off so I can find a tank. There's another one that I parked somewhere else, I believe. Or maybe
I see one in the southwest.
Yes.
This
all
way.
The way down there. Okay. On our way. But, so that actually costs 5 lasers, 5 steel, 1 processing unit. It's not very much. There's no Mark II, unfortunately. And it doesn't really do a huge chunk of power compared... I'm heading down to the other tank that's just a little ways down here, since you were jumping into that one.
Oh, okay.
There's a little bit... I don't think it quite benefits from the same laser research. So generally speaking, your laser towers are going to be significantly more dangerous. But let's jump in this. I just
ran over a pipe. Let's see if the robots fix it. Come on, robots, fix the pipe.
I thought you were going to say, let's see if the whole factory just crumbles to its knees.
They'll fix it. I'm confident they'll fix it.
Let's remove these. Playing around with Power Armor does require a little bit of Tetris to get everything to work.
Oh, yeah.
But, there we go. So there's 4 laser defenses in there. My shield is recharging because I've taken a couple of shields out. And we're going to be on the move. There appears to be a little alien biter base just to the south here. So I'm just going to drive down. I'm not going to attack. I'm going to be in the tank just for added security. And we'll see if my lasers naturally fire from inside the tank. If so, then that is going to be, because you can then use the tank as your defenses. Yeah, there we are. I thought so. My laser defenses, as you can see, they're not super powerful. Not even remotely as powerful as the laser defenses of the base. But, if you stack them up, you might be able to do an approximate amount of damage. It'll never quite be as good as a wall of lasers, but then they are massive, and you've got these just inside your little... All
right, get out of that silly tank.
Okay. What do you want?
Now this is what Power Armor does so well. You got your combat shotgun?
Ah, you want to show this off? Sure. Let me just
Yes.
re-equip for that. I'll put my shields back in. And we'll
Oh
go...
boy, oh
Now,
boy.
I'm not quite as geared up for what we're about to do as Shen is. And I'll cover the last type of weapon once Shen and I have
Oh, yeah, let's
demonstrated
talk about that real quick.
this. Oh, okay, sure. The last type of weapon is quite big. It's a 3x3 area. It's called the discharge defense. Now, this compounds the problem that Shen mentioned earlier about draining all your power and then not having any for defense. The discharge defense requires 10 lasers, 20 steel plates, 5 processing units. It has an area of effect. It does 30 laser damage versus the personal laser defense is 5 laser damage. But it effectively just burns through your power like you wouldn't even believe. It is manually triggered. It's not a passive weapon. You have to use this, the basic electric discharge defense remote. You use it much like a grenade. You don't throw it. It's just you have to actively have it on your cursor and then press left click. And your discharge defense will just burn out all of your power with a laser shot that will hit a couple of things at the same time and will do, appreciable amounts of damage to them. But I'm glossing over that one largely because, by and large, I never use it because I feel that it is woefully inferior to the personal laser defense, and that as a general rule, I play much as Shen is playing right now, and that is my suit is mostly made for shields and for legs. I obviously haven't filled it up here simply so that I have room for what we were demonstrating. But this is where I feel the Power Armour really comes into its own. Shen, shall we proceed?
Oh boy, I can't wait. This is where
there we are.
Oh, night vision just came on. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna run out of base, and we're probably gonna like strafe along the side or shoot for a little bit, and then we're gonna run away. But the idea is with our combat shotgun, we're going to take out whatever the heck we're shooting at.
Yep.
And the shields that we have will protect us so long as we want to stay. And then when it's time to get out of there, that's where the power legs will get us out of there. And that's the whole idea. And it's just amazing how much havoc you can wreck with this suit.
The only thing you ever need to worry about this is just keep an eye on your battery. If your battery starts to drain, that is time to leave. If your battery is draining, the purple bar that appears above your hotbar, that's your shield. If that's draining, well, that means you're taking damage. It's going to happen. If it's draining really, really fast, leave, because once that's gone, you're very squishy. Even with this armor on, yeah, the shield might make you feel that you're able to tank the damage, but once that's no longer there, your ability to soak damage is greatly diminished. Right, Shen, shall we go?
Let's go.
Okay. Now, these large worms would have terrified us previously, and they still do a chunk of damage in one go. The monsters are going to do a little bit of damage to me there. My bots are going off to repair Shen's tank while I pass it, because it briefly came into my robo range. No, thank you. Now, imagine if I had a rocket launcher for this. Okay, I am out of power. There we go. So I'm just going to wait for my shield to recharge, and then my power levels will start to recover. Excellent. Now, this is where Shen is really excelling because he's got 2 fusion reactors. I managed for a little while, but towards the end, the damage, the cost of not only recharging my roboport, powering my exoskeleton legs, and recharging my shields was too much for my single fusion reactor to handle. There we go.
And you like he was saying, like Aavak was saying, you could put a 3rd fusion reactor, like if you really wanted to. I've played around with it, and it's not bad, but it really does limit your size for putting other stuff in your suit. Like if you're gonna have 3 fusion reactors, you're kind of saying, okay, I'm only gonna have 1 power legs, and I'm only gonna have like maybe 4 shields. But you can keep them going indefinitely because you don't even have to put batteries in it.
That does not mean that the shields will be able to always be on, though. Bear that in mind. It just means that you'll be able to recharge them without ever having your battery dip down. The shields
doesn't mean they have infinite health.
The shields have a limited charge rate, so no matter how good your shield is, it will recharge slowly. And if the damage is coming in faster than it can recharge, then you're going to probably die.
No one ever dies.
Right, we need some more alien artifacts. The rocket silo is very nearly there. Oh, there's a little group of biters heading up towards that laser base. There's quite a lot of worms over there. Are you doing all right down there, Shen?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna pass by your tank, have my robots jump out and repair. And as you saw there, I drove over a tree stump, and my repair bots just went out and repaired my tank on the go. Glorious.
Oh, that's cute.
Right, let's go take this base because there's not actually much down there. We need these alien artifacts quite badly, actually. I've got their attention for the most part. I am going to run out of
I'm just doing a strafe to take out the base.
Shells.
I love strafing.
Now you will slow down while firing, no matter how many robot legs, magic legs, whatever you want to call them. But it will have a diminishing effect, effectively. If you've got like 5 or 6 legs, then your slow is still going to be faster than some people's fast if they have got none of those legs. But do be aware that when shooting and strafing, you are going to be moving slightly slower no matter what. There are a lot of worms here, Shen.
Oh yeah, the worms are really the only thing we really care about at this point.
A little bit of trouble. There we go. Let's take that out. I'm just going to be ducking in and out. The spitters can catch me now and then, but generally, you can just safely walk around and just pick your targets. Oh, that is a lot of big worms. All right, my battery is going to start to run out. No, I should be okay. The moment my shield is fully charged. Oh, that was close. My battery doesn't care as much. But that was dangerous. That is a lot of big worms.
That's okay, I got him.
Cool. Moving in. There we are. I'll just continue to run around with these. Follow me. Shouldn't be too bad. Though my battery is starting to run down again. And it is really advised that you keep an eye on this sort of stuff. Don't just assume that you'll be able to run around. Keep an eye on your battery. Because, you know, it'd be very bad if you died in the middle of... Oh, wow, that's a lot of worms. Like, wow.
Yeah. I think it's just because these are late spawn bases. Because early bases don't really have that many worms.
No.
But as you get later in the game, after you've destroyed some bases and they respawn, they usually respawn with a lot of worms.
Yeah, it's just defending themselves against what they know is coming. Right, you can go in there, grab some of the spawners. And this is one of the advantages with playing in multiplayer, that you can kind of team up like this. I can draw the worms out. Sorry, not the worms, but the regular biters, and then Shen can swoop through, clean up the ones that are attacking me, or just go for their spawners whilst most of the biters in the base are chasing me.
Yeah, typically you want to go for the spawners just so there's less stuff coming for you every wave.
Exactly, yeah. Sweep up here. Watch out there, Shen. You can get overconfident with this. I have died so many times with Power Armor because I feel like I'm invincible. And then I'm told, no, you're not. You were just strong for a little bit, but it was very little. Oh, wow, this base is already respawned up behind us. That was impressive. Usually they're not that proactive at spawning. I am also almost out of my piercing ammo. I need to let my batteries recharge a little bit. I'll try and take out these spawners while I'm going through. Right, my batteries are very low, and I've got a lot of biters that would like to try and kill me now.
Yeah, I kind of ran out of battery there. But that's a good point. It's just keep an eye on your shields and your batteries, because it's really the only thing that's going to stop you in this armor.
Yeah, pretty much. Now I'm going to stand up here by all of these glorious things. And you can come and collect all of the artifacts. There you go. And Rocket Silo has finished.
All right.
Thank goodness for
Is there anything else to
modules.
even research?
Oh, there are a few things that we can look at. We are now capable of winning the game, and we'll do that in the next episode. But maybe we'll check out some of the other tech whilst we're waiting for things to build, because we're going to have to set up some automation to build all of the components that we're going to need. There's going to be a lot to this rocket silo. It's not just a simple act of building a structure, slapping it down, you won the game. You do actually need to build the rocket as well, but that will have to be for the next episode. So Shen, would you like to take us out?
Sure. Well, thanks for watching, everyone. I've got a whole bunch of biters over here. They're all going to say goodbye to you. We'll see you next time where we'll actually build our rocket silo. But I hope you enjoyed checking out Power Armor 2. It is fantastic stuff, and once you've reached this point of the game, it really becomes whatever you want to do as the goal.
Yeah, pretty much. Right, well, thanks for joining us, everyone. Take care.
Bye-bye. you.